everybody. I'm here with Dan, who's been our student for a number of years. And I'm so excited, Dan, that you have taken time out of your busy life to share with everyone your experience with our programs. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Amy. Yes. Hi, everyone. My name's Dan. I live in Philadelphia. I'm 49 years old. I've been working with Amy for a number of years. And so far, I've done the anger purge program, the upward spiral, and now working on the childhood trauma program through Zoom and a lot on the phone.
Wow, that's great. And then I'm so glad that it's effective over phone and Zoom. Woo! Zero barriers. And then
Yes.
how did you hear about this work originally?
Well, I originally found out about you through a friend who was at the time working on this program with you to use technology for exploring technology, how that could be applied to help people with their happiness. And it was a close friend. I told him a little bit about my background in self-development, NLP, hypnosis, and things like that. And it just sounded really interesting to me. So he recommended I maybe sit in on one of your Zoom meetings. And that was how I got to meet you initially.
Mm-hmm. And then what was it like first talking with Amy? And then what made you want to sign up for a program from just that Zoom meeting?
Well, it was really interesting. I mean, it was almost like two really good friends having a conversation rather than like a meeting about a tech project. And what really stood out to me was how it was genuine, it was authentic. I didn't feel like there was any pretense. Also, what stuck with me was that, it didn't diminish at any point in the conversation. It was all consistent, and that really stayed with me and kind of made me wonder, wow, how did she, learn how to do that, and how did that come about? And, can I learn some of that?
That is great. Yeah, let's get it out there. And then what made you take the leap of faith?
After a couple months after that first meeting, I was just thinking about my situation, and, I was feeling kind of down, and I'd invested a lot and already put a lot of energy into, health, wellness, and vitality, and it wasn't really going the way I wanted it to. So I decided to reach out. We had a really good conversation and got to know more about the programs, what's possible. And I felt confident that what you were telling me was really possible for me. So I decided to start the journey.
Which I'm so glad you did. And then did you get your happiness vitals addressed in that meeting? And then can you share what that was like?
Yeah, so the happiness vitals part of our conversation was kind of humbling. I thought I might have been a lot more happy on some level than I actually turned out to be. I got mostly D's and E's, so if it was a report card, I'd be in jeopardy of failing out of the class. So that was very eye-opening. And some of the general things that I heard were people that maintain their happiness, they earn more, they live longer, they have better relationships. But yeah, I do see those results, and I continue to make progress in those areas, and that's very very gratifying and encouraging. So I'm excited about that.
I love that, Dan. Thank you. And then just curious, what did you think you were signing up for, and what did you end up getting?
When I first signed up, I thought that it would be kind of smooth sailing once I start, and then that'll continue. And it was really kind of the opposite of that. One of the terms you have is like weeding the garden of happiness. And for me, it was like much more of a jungle, very dark jungle. My weeds had gotten really out of control, and I could barely see the sun coming through. But I persisted with your help, and that's been really life-changing, and the way I feel now versus the way I was when I started. The size of those weeds are much more manageable now.
I love that. I love that. And what were a few surprises that came up along the way?
just how much there was in the past that I hadn't really processed or dealt with. And also that I was really just coping. Surprising to see how these methods that you teach are much more in alignment with that. And I'm actually like releasing things as opposed to just kind of keeping it suppressed, and how much better I feel. Now that I'm not putting all that energy on a day-to-day basis into just kind of suppressing anger and other negative emotions.
So what was the easiest thing about this program, or about all the
The easiest thing I think now is just like showing up and knowing that if I'm willing to put in the work, if I'm willing to really, put in the effort, that it's going to get me results, that I'm going to come out lighter and, feeling healthier and better than before the conversation started. I'm going to learn things about what wasn't working and what I need to do differently to continue to bring in more energy and more vitality and healing. Like that's always something that's really amazing, is there's not just talk and psychology and coaching, but there's this healing element that comes through. And sometimes we do Reiki, and that helps to like free up and clear a lot of those energies that have been really deeply ingrained. So that's all been really easy to just show up every couple weeks and talk about the work that I've done and move forward. So that's been great.
And then what was the hardest thing so far?
Hardest thing so far would just be, allowing myself to revisit and re-experience the disappointments, the pain, the negativity, anger, all the gritty things of the past that, we all kind of carry with us to some extent, and letting the actual emotions come through, not just like talking about them, but like feeling them. And that's tough. But what comes afterwards, the difference that it makes once I go through that is always worth it.
The only way out is through. And then what has been the most rewarding thing so far?
Most rewarding thing I would say is how I feel overall and how I'm relating to people so much more genuinely, like giving people my full attention, being present. My relationships have gotten better, getting along better with my family than I ever have been, reconnecting with old friends, doing better at work, just genuinely like, paying attention to people, like when they're in front of me, like not being preoccupied with other thoughts or telling myself that they're unimportant, or what I'm doing here doesn't matter. It's like all those negative, self-defeating thoughts don't really enter my mind hardly at all. And if they do, it's like, just refocus a little bit, and I'm good with whatever's going on. So I'd say that just the adaptability.
Well, that sounds great. Do you think that you'll ever go back to where you were before you started this work?
No, I don't think so. And there's a lot of things to never want to go back to. One of the things that I never thought I would do was stop eating candy. Like I've been a sugar addict since I was like 5 or 6. Giving up candy was an incredible accomplishment. And again, it's like still weird to hear myself saying that, just eating consistently better, drinking green drinks, which, something else I've never thought I would like be into, but like I see the difference in how I feel, and just eating better, being unmotivated, being inert for long periods. Like I don't see myself ever working out or like, going to the gym less than a couple times a week, exercising. The negativity and the anger is kind of like all out of my system now. So
That's so great. And just side note, how many hours did you put into the anger purge or releasing the anger?
At least a couple hundred. Yeah, that was a really intense, ongoing process. So yeah, I would say probably at least 200 to 300, maybe more.
And that's just with the anger purge alone.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. through this work? What have others said about you?
I've gotten some really good encouraging feedback. People tell me I'm just, I look healthier, I look better. Um, it's easier to speak to people and to relate to people. And, I used to kind of always have a scowl on my face a little bit, or, just look like I was disinterested in general. And people can just see that I feel positive. I'm more outgoing than I ever have been, very much so.
What are some of the inner results you've experienced?
Much more calm, very relaxed. Used to have tons of racing thoughts and, thinking about the past and getting pissed off at, things I couldn't control. Like, I don't spend long periods thinking about things that aren't in ways that aren't productive. It's much easier to meditate. Breathing better, again, I mentioned. Joy and enthusiasm. Like, it's not hard to smile or laugh or just allow myself to have fun with the challenges I'm having. I mean, there are things that are important in life, but nothing has to be dire or catastrophic. It's like I would tend to make things. So that's all the inner results.
The inner landscape. Yeah. And what about the outer results?
Some of the things I just mentioned, just like, more confident, better posture, more energy, getting along with people better, putting more effort into taking care of myself, just putting, consistently putting a little bit more effort week to week into, kind of some of the bigger picture things.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. And would you recommend this work to anyone, and in particular, anyone?
Yeah, absolutely. I would recommend this to anyone who's kind of struggling to achieve the consistent sense of joy and happiness and vitality that they're looking for. And also, that includes people that are having really serious challenges emotionally, deep sadness, anger, depression, any of those things that feel like, am I ever going to, be free of these things? Like, this is for you. Like, this can absolutely help you get free of those unwanted feelings and to create a better optimistic outlook and like genuine happiness. Like, you can have what you want in life if you do the work to clear out, these things that are weighing you down. And these programs are definitely a way to achieve that. Absolutely.
I love that, Dan. What else would you like to say to the audience?
My experience working with you, getting to know you, your mentorship, the things you've taught me, working with you has changed my life and for the better. I could really go on and on about it, but I just want to say it's been a tremendous experience. I've gotten so much out of doing these programs with you. The way I feel now versus, when we started is like night and day. I'd just say I really have a true ally that is able to help me at any time. Like, I've called you up random times tonight, sent you texts at weird hours, and you're always willing to, meet me where I am and help me through those challenges. And that's been amazing. I'm really grateful and feel lucky that I met you and have done this work with you.
Aw, I'm blushing over here. Thank you, Dan. Thanks for taking that leap of faith and doing a lot of the elbow work it takes to get yourself to where you are right now. I'm really proud of you. Well, thank you everybody for joining Dan and I to hear a little bit about the behind the scenes. And there is a link below if you want to sign up for any of our courses or get a free consultation. Thanks, Dan, and thanks everybody.